For Formal Lab 3, we investigated Lennard-Jones potential, which describes interactions between two atoms or molecules. The function has two variables, sigma, which is the distance between the molecules when potential energy is equal to 0, and epsilon, which is the well depth or the strength of the attraction. This curve can be modeled with a simple code that shows the molecules attracting and repulsing one another. For our lab, we decided to investigate how this situation changes with varying values of epsilon. We chose 3 different molecules with different electronegativities, which affects the strength of the attraction. We chose OH, which has an electronegativity difference of 1.4 and an epsilon value of 8.368, SH, which has an electronegativity difference of 0.4 and an epsilon value of 20.92, and HCl, which has an electronegativity difference of 0.9 and an epsilon value of 323. We also changed the mass in the code according to the molecular weight of each of the molecules. Once we changed the epsilon and mass variables in the code for each scenario, we ran the simulation and observed the graphs and values that were calculated for potential energy, kinetic energy, and total energy. The OH molecule, which had the lowest epsilon value, had a potential energy of negative 0.51, a kinetic energy of negative 0.34, and a total energy of 0.169. The SH molecule, which had the second highest epsilon value, had a potential energy of negative 1.28, a kinetic energy of negative 0.95, and a total energy of 0.33. The HCl molecule, which had the highest epsilon value, had a potential energy of negative 20.17, a kinetic energy of negative 19.8, and a total energy of 0.346. Although the energy levels changed as we changed the epsilon values, all of the simulations resulted in a Lennard-Jones potential curve. The HCl graph did appear to have a small bubble at the beginning of the graph, which may be due to the initial kinetic energies of the molecules. From our results, we came to the conclusion that larger epsilon values will result in a greater potential energy, which makes sense given the equation and the graph for Lennard-Jones potential. There are, however, some potential sources of error in our experiment. For example, we found the electronegativity and epsilon values from online sources, and there may be some error in the parameters or our interpretation of the data. The code is also limited to situations with only 2 molecules, which does not reflect real-life scenarios with many molecules and variables interacting with one another and exchanging energy.